Show me.
He's back in an all-new slam-bang adventure against his two most lethal enemies.
I want her dead.
Blackbelt. Dawn is ex-cop Jack Dillon. Back to settle a personal score.
You're pushing me down. So push back.
Blackbelt is a 1992 film directed by Charles Philip Moore and Rick Jacobson. Blackbelt stars Don the Dragon Wilson and then just a whole bunch of other people, and it also claims that it stars a bunch of martial artists, but I'm pretty sure it just packed them all into the final 5 minutes. But Don the Dragon Wilson is, of course, the huge star here, because it's Don the Dragon Wilson. He was a huge kickboxing martial arts champion, and they're like, this guy's clearly a star. Let's hope he can act. Can he? No. Blackbelt is about an ex-cop who is now a martial arts instructor who is tasked with protecting an upcoming pop star. It seems like she is next on the list of a string of murders that have taken place that have been very weird. I don't like the motivation for these murders. Incest. But she also has a, I guess, the head of her record label it has ties with the mafia. And he just is fine with putting hits on people, including her. So he's also got to protect her from that guy and his gang of thugs. A lot of bad guys, which is just opportunity for more fight scenes. And wouldn't you know it, wouldn't you have it, wouldn't you guess it? The fight scenes are almost as bad as the acting. I don't really care that the acting is bad. Like, I've seen plenty of martial arts movies where the acting could be 1,000 times better, but it is, you can ignore it when the fight scenes are epic. Like, Die Fighting was on my list of top 10 martial arts movies of last decade. The acting in it is pretty bad, but the fight scenes are wonderful. Contour, super cheaply made film. Eric Jacobus, Dennis Ruel, a bunch of other people. Bad acting, fight scenes, epic. Blackbelt. It's all bad. It's all bad. And I don't, fault anybody for the bad acting. Don Wilson, I've heard in interviews, has even said, hey, they didn't hire an actor, they hired a martial artist. Fine. Did they hire a good choreographer? I can't tell. This movie also feels like it's in this weird gray area where I really could not tell what decade it was from. I had to look it up on IMDb just to figure out it was from 1992. There's movies that feel certifiably 80s, your Breakfast Clubs, your Ferris Bueller's Day Off, all the Indiana Jones movies, Back to the Future, 16 Candles, Dirty Dancing, certifiably 1980s. E.T. 80s. Got it. And then there are movies that feel certifiably 90s. Your Jurassic Parks, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Terminator 2, Silence of the Lambs. 90s movies. Very 90s movies. But something about this movie, I was like, oh, that's clearly the 80s. Certain aesthetics from the film felt very 80s. And then other things, they were just weird and awkward. No one had an idea of, I guess, tone of this movie. It just bugged me the whole time. I don't know why. It's not a problem with this movie, just I couldn't get my mind off of it. But the action, I've already said that the fight scenes aren't very good, which is a bummer because at the very beginning, the entire opening credits is this movie just running down this huge list of the cast is made up of former martial arts champions from all backgrounds, and it's making it feel like it's going to be this huge epic thing. And at that point I'm in two trains of thought. I'm thinking this is either going to be like BKO, where the entire cast knows different styles and it's this epic clash of awesomeness, or this is going to be in the late 2000s, early 2010s, when who was it, Tap Out, I don't know who it was just putting out movies filled with different UFC stars and none of them were good. And it turns out it falls more into that camp, the latter, the bad one, the just awful one. And like I said, it packs all these like fighters in. It felt like they packed all these fighters into this one of the final fight scenes in this dojo. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you know what? This movie's been bad so far, but big dojo fights with like multiple martial artists is typically like the highlight of a lot of movies. I think of like Kiss of the Dragon, Ip Man, Fist of Fury, so many movies where just like a fight in a dojo with a bunch of guys is always epic. This was pretty bad. Bad. Just bad. Bad choreography, bad editing, just all of it. And I made this point in last week's review of The One-Armed Swordsman that it's hard to go back to older stuff because newer stuff just does it so much better, but that's not even the case here. Older stuff does it better too. There's so much stuff that is older than this movie that I would watch 1,000 times over this. Not just stuff that I love, like a Bruce Lee movie or a Jackie Chan Sammo Hung movie, but like stuff that I find boring, I would watch over this. Because at least with the older stuff that I find a bit boring, you see those sparks of creativity, and there's just none of that here. There's a couple moments where I thought the choreography got kind of decent, but the editing and the camera angles were garbage. Moments where things were just blocking stuff, where I'm like, something cool is probably happening, but I can't see it because like someone's arm is in the way of the camera. The choreography was so slow, it felt like a bad episode of Power Rangers, and I like Power Rangers. And it felt like an odd, terrible combination of all the things I don't like about a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal movies. Like, you know, even those movies have those sparks of creativity and great choreography, but at some point it's just slow and methodical, and it's the same repetitive choreography you see in all of them. And that was a lot of this. It was a lot of the same kicks, a lot of the same throws, a lot of the same punches, and I get it. There's only so many ways you can throw a kick and a punch. Get creative. And it seems like that may be the crux of this entire film. Lack of almost any sort of creativity. They saw a guy, Don the Dragon Wilson, and they thought, this dude's a star, put him in anything, it's gonna work, when that's just not how it works, I think. You can't just throw somebody in something and expect to make money. You gotta have any spark of creativity in it to get anything good out of it. Jackie Chan did not become like this huge star just because like, oh, well, this guy's just obviously a star, just put him in something. No, Jackie Chan honed something, found out what worked for him, and ran with it and exploded. Don the Dragon Wilson's gimmick in this movie, and this is my first Don the Dragon Wilson movie, I might watch more based on this. I probably won't, but I want to. His gimmick is just, I'm Don the Dragon Wilson. So? And he is clearly an excellent martial artist, and they just put him in some very bad movies. At least based on this one, a very bad movie. But I've heard from people who I've talked to since I've watched this one that they don't really get better. In the end, I feel bad for trashing things. I hate being negative, but I was very negative about this one because it gave me a negative experience. I'm going to give this one, let's say, 1 incest-motivated villain out of 5. That was weird. That was, like, I've seen some bad villain motivation, but, like, dude loved his mom. And I suppose that's the same motivation of, like, Psycho, but, like, I can't compare this movie to Psycho. This was bad. But what do you think of Don the Dragon Wilson's Black Belt? I didn't like it. Also, some people were like, dude, this movie was produced by Roger Corman, of course it's bad. But, like, Roger Corman's made a lot of stuff. He was involved in some great stuff. It's just that he was involved in so much stuff that a lot of it was ass. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. What you thought of it, your favorite Don the Dragon Wilson movie. Should I watch another one? If I should watch another one, which one? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to martialjonah.com for movie reviews, book reviews, articles on everything martial arts. And don't forget that Martial Arts Film Freak is also now a Facebook page. So head over there, like that, like all the stuff, comment on stuff, get involved, talk about stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.